Act. The Boston mayor is a racist, and our very special guests, John Petrolino and Charlie Cook. This is The Loaded Mic, and I'm Dan Wass. Welcome back to part 2 of our Christmas special, our Loaded Mic Christmas special. We are here with... He's so philosophical. In school, Aristotle copied his notes. John Chiara.
You need a new line, Dan. Fairy dust.
The one and only, and thank God for that, the one your mother warned you about, Anthony Diso. Author of Decoding Firearms and writer for Ammoland and Bearing Arms, John Petrolino. And National Second Amendment advocate and host of Riding Shotgun with Charlie Cook. All right. All right, so we're back. Hopefully everyone saw the episode last week. We got the guys in the studio the whole weekend here, so we decided we're going to do 2 episodes. We're going to do a double episode. I want to start this show with an article by our very own John Petrolino. This is called New Jersey Attorney General Files Malicious Civil Complaints Against Firearm Industry Members. And it starts off by saying, and John, I'll let you pick up here, but it starts off by saying New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin has filed 2 civil complaints against members of the firearm industry. Platkin, who's been a member of Governor Phil Murphy's team in one capacity or another since its inception, is executing a law that was enacted maliciously to put the squeeze on firearm-related businesses. What is this all about? Explain it to us.
So a number of years ago, they passed a law that allows New Jersey to basically sue firearm industry members if they're doing things that are either against New Jersey's law or they think that they're reckless. And in these 2 instances, so now one of them, you might be more familiar with some of the controversy. It involves JSD Supply, which is our good friend Jordan Vinrow, right? We know Jordan Vinrow. He was having problems, was it last year, the year before? I can't remember. Well, now New Jersey's after him again, and what they're doing is they're suing him civilly.
Refresh us on the JSD.
Yeah, so he was selling like 80% lower. That's right, basically, yep. Right? Yeah. So you could buy, the little Glockenspiel kits where you make your own.
Right. It's IKEA for guns.
Right. Yeah, and you're more familiar with it than I am. You bought a JSD Supply kit or no?
I'm not sure if I know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about. Right. Perfect.
Either that or he lost it in his boating accident.
That's right.
I lost my boat in the boating accident, too.
Anyhow, I don't know anything about them. I've never seen them except in somebody else's.
And the cat was steering the boat.
So he's suing JSD Supply, basically, the parent company also of the Oaks, I think it's Oaks Gun Show, same guy, Jordan. And because he's saying that, the state is saying that because people from New Jersey can go to Pennsylvania and buy these kits, or they used to be able to. I don't think they sell them anymore, to be honest with you. I think he stopped selling them years ago when he had issues over in Pennsylvania and everywhere else he was having problems. But anyhow, saying that, Jordan's company is culpable for this because people from Jersey could buy them and bring them back into New Jersey. So they're holding him civilly, on the hook for it. And they want to, basically extort money out of him. What businesses of New Jersey would a company does that's legal in another state? And that's where I have the problem, one of the many problems that are with this. And they talk about it in Platkin's release about how state troopers have found people leaving the gun show and, they were found in possession of these kits. they were fleecing them. They were watching. They were watching people at the gun show. They're watching people that went into New Jersey plated vehicles wait till they get in Jersey, and they would pull them over. And this is actually should be bigger news than it really is, but it hasn't gotten out too far. No one's really covering it. But this happened. And there was one guy at one point, I believe, that he purchased a 80% kit or whatever and mailed it somewhere. They don't know where. And when he got home, the police followed him, executed a search and all this. They couldn't find the kits, but they still arrested him anyhow. They had nothing to charge him with, but they arrested him anyhow because they knew that he bought the kit because they were. So now this opens up all kinds of questions. Why are New Jersey state troopers sitting there doing surveillance in a Pennsylvania jurisdiction? I mean, to me, there's all kinds of problems, and it just reeks with jackbooted thug, up, down, left, and right. So that was one company in one situation. The other one is this company FSS. We're talking about in the last episode, people that are victims of crime, and we're going to criminalize that. Well, they're suing FSS. They had a bunch of firearms stolen from them. Somebody broke in, stole a bunch of stuff, and they're saying, well, we need to hold them civilly liable because it was easy for people to steal the firearms, allegedly.
Again, we talked about this last week, holding the victim of the crime accountable for the crime. Makes no sense.
Right. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And in the case with FSS, I don't know how they were storing their firearms or whatever, but there was a very specific quote, and it's kind of funny. And I mentioned it in the article too, where some talking head is saying, these behaviors are irresponsible and, illegal. Well, if they're illegal behaviors, then why are we going after them civilly? If they're illegal behaviors, this is a criminal matter. But they got nothing.
Because they don't have legislation backing them to prosecute it legally, right?
But if they're going to say it's criminal, if it's criminal, it's got to be a criminal thing. If it's against the law, it's a criminal matter. So don't sit here and say it's against the law. Yeah. So anyhow, it's a big problem. And they did this with another company. I believe they were out of Florida, a magazine company. And what's very interesting about this is when Gruwal was the AG. It was the last AG that we had 2 AGs ago, I believe. And he was on this complaint. It was a civil complaint. And in the complaint, and this is really, really delicious, and I've pointed this out a number of times to some of the legal eagles, and I've gotten, radio silence back from them. And that might be because they like it, or that might be because they think I'm crazy, right? One or the other, right? In the complaint, they talk about standard capacity magazines. And in their own complaint, the state, they say a standard capacity magazine is a magazine that comes standard with a firearm. So that means, by virtue of this, a 17-round magazine is good to go with a Glock 17, and your 15-round magazines are good to go with your Glock 19s, and your 15 rounds with your Beretta 92 FSs, but they want to call anything over a 10-round magazine, by statute, high capacity. Yeah. But this is in their civil complaint. So they use this stuff when it's convenient to them and manipulate it.
Of course.
So I think that's evidence of the state just being, wanton about all of it. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Any other comments? Anybody?
It's the whole thing is completely ridiculous. Crossing the state line to go. What is that? It's. I mean, it's close, right? I went and interviewed somebody. I interviewed this gal, Nayara Andrzejczyk, at Tanner's, in which I forget what town it's in, but it's somewhere in. It's in Pennsylvania, and it's right on the border. And I'm very sure that we may have gone over a bridge and crossed into New Jersey and turned around and came back. But it's easy to go across the border over there. It's easy. And so if they're going across the Jersey, if the police are going across to not their jurisdiction to try to enforce some laws that are some fakakta laws, this is ridiculous. And then they're arresting him for shipping a receiver to somebody or a frame to somebody.
Right, and that was a different case. It's not this case, but that was another case that happened. This is all same bedfellows, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just straight up, this is RICO stuff. There's no other way to look
Shouldn't
at it.
the DEA be doing that or something? Not the state police from one state or something. It needs to be a federal agency if they're going to go. I would
If
think
they're going across state lines, it ought to be a federal thing.
Across
right.
state lines, got to be careful.
But federally, it's not. It's legal to have those in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
It's no different than buying a magazine. That's a 15-round magazine in Pennsylvania, bringing it back. So what, is any business over there is breaking New Jersey law because they sell these high-capacity magazines that are standard capacity, according to one of their complaints, so that what, they could sue anybody? I mean, the fact of the matter is, my opinion is, they don't like the Golden Oaks. I think it's Golden Oaks Gun Show. Do you remember the name of it? Oaks Gun Show? Golden Oaks, whatever the name of the show is. And they don't like JSD Supply. They don't like any of the companies that Jordan has had. And they're waging war on them. And there's no difference than the police, the attorney general, who's now the governor of Pennsylvania, was the former attorney general, was waging war on them when he was attorney general. So now we're just including more states. And, there's also this coalition of states that are combating gun violence. This is like against 14th Amendment protections and stuff, where states are capitulating against each other. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. This is all like semi-old news, but it doesn't make it any less relevant. Like, this is stuff that's been going on for years now, since the Murphy administration. Well, Murphy's been in office, 6 years now, I think, or whatever it's been, too long. But they created this coalition. So they're conspiring against their citizens across state lines.
Well, just kind of a little bit off the topic. Wasn't Murphy the one who wanted to ban 50 caliber rounds or something like that?
Yeah.
Because they could put out a helicopter.
Take out an airplane.
And I'm thinking, how many people in Jersey are shooting down airplanes?
What are you trying to do? Give people ideas? What's wrong with you? This isn't a problem.
Jersey, some people in Jersey are pretty crazy.
Well, and they screwed up that law so bad, Dan. Like, they had to whittle it down. Because, like, the first time they wrote, like, these 50 caliber ban, they banned all shotguns because the caliber. What is a 12-gauge shotgun? It's like a 60 cal if you really want to get down to it. I don't know what it is exactly,
like
right?
Yeah, you see these things where somebody takes a Mossberg 500 and puts a 50
right.
cal in it.
Yeah, we need to have this 50 cal ban. Well, they did this, and it's like, okay, they banned the Smith & Wesson 500, they banned the Desert Eagle. Oh, no, that's not what we mean. Well, what do you mean? I just really, all right, we just want the Barrett. That's it, the 50 cal Barrett. That's the one we want. The one that takes down the helicopters and the airplanes. Okay,
because everybody,
and that's like
so many times.
Everybody
before,
has
right,
one of those.
Do you know the weasel words? They had to write this law to be just the Barrett. Basically, was it.
Right, because people have $12,000 for a rifle that weighs 47 pounds and costs, every time you press a trigger, it costs you $5. Yeah, that's practical.
Yeah,
Bringing it to the mall.
And I'm only going to buy it because I want to shoot a helicopter down because it seems cool. I saw it in a movie.
Haven't shot a helicopter down lately. I want to do it.
That's it. I want to see it come down.
Well, a lot of times these, manufacturers they come up with ways around the laws. And so I just want to talk about our sponsor real quick. This device is a Cali key. It removes your AR from the definition of so-called assault weapon. When so-called assault weapon ban lists are created, they exclude manually operated bolt action firearms. So just by dropping this Cali key, this little device, into your direct impingement AR, in place of your semi-automatic BCG, you will have a bolt-action rifle that falls outside the definition of an assault weapon. You don't need to do anything else. So give the Cali key a look, because you could retain your rifle's features, avoid registration complications, revive your black rifle sales if you're an FFL, regain the ability to do private party transfers, legally transport across hostile jurisdictions, hunt with your AR in areas like Pennsylvania, enhance long-range precision and quiet or suppressed shooting. So just check this out. Cali Key has state-specific expert attorney opinions, because every state is different and laws are different in every state. But those opinions are on the website, and they support grassroots Second Amendment organizations with their sales. Cali Key's mission: to empower customers and claw back our civil liberties. Go to CaliKey.com. Use the discount code LOADED. CaliKey.com. Use the discount code LOADED. All right. So, well, thanks, John, for that for that article.
For that diatribe.
No, it was good. I mean, the thing is, people around the country, gun owners around the country, they don't necessarily know what's going on in some of the worst anti-gun states like Jersey, Massachusetts, New York. So it's good that we explain this stuff because, maybe it makes people feel a little bit better about their own state, whatever. But this is the way it is, and this is the stuff we got to fight back.
Not only do we fight back on this stuff, but the people that live in free America, not occupied territory, this is the stuff that's going to be coming their way.
That's true.
When there's more, anti-gun folks living in red states, then they're going to be like, hey, listen, this is what we had in California. This is what we had in Jersey. This is what we had in Massachusetts. This is what we have in New York. We need to bring these to Texas. We need to bring it to Tennessee. We need to bring it to Florida. And I hate saying it's the future of gun control, but this is where all this stuff is going to be going. It's in our states this is what's going to be going everywhere else.
Right. Don't flee your crappy state and bring all your stuff here and vote it in.
Right, exactly. Well, what's the old saying? The thing they say in Texas is "Don't California my Texas."
Yeah. And don't New York, Florida.
Yeah.
It's true because you think these liberals get so tired of dealing with the laws and the society that they create, that they voted for. Oh, I got to get out of here. So they go down to Florida. And they get right back into the same thing and start voting Democrat.
All those retirement communities down there, getting threatened every day with 50 millimeter.
Yeah, shooting down all the helicopters. I heard all the helicopters in Florida were shot down with 50 calibers. They don't even fly helicopters in Florida anymore.
Mounted to a hover round.
Or what's those Stairmaster thing? The thing that goes up the stairs.
Back. Get him, Elma.
I got a funny story here for you guys. A vegan feminist cafe that charges an 18% man tax opened about 2 years ago.
Boy, that can't be illegal.
Upon its opening, this Australian cafe called
there's your
it's
problem.
called Handsome Her.
Handsome Her. Wait a minute.
I've seen Ben-Hur.
They announced that they would charge male customers an 18% premium for 1 week every month to reflect the gender pay gap. No, you wouldn't, Anthony. Would you disagree with this?
Almighty.
You're not a true feminist, Anthony. If you disagree. Anyway,
Not a vegan either, can't you tell?
I always saw you devour that steak last night.
Cows eat grass. You're vegan. It's all right.
The cafe's 3 rules included: women have priority seating. Men will be charged an 18% premium to reflect the gender pay gap, which is donated to a woman's service. And the so-called respect goes both ways, whatever that means. I want you to see this video. That's not a video. That's just a photo. That's right. Okay, sorry. I thought we had a video. But yeah, okay. The good news is that this liberal hellhole cafe has recently gone out of business. So I thought you guys
I would expect it to.
So sad.
In more vegan insanity, we have this guy. Where's that other photo?
Vegan for life.
He's got it on his neck.
Look, he's got.
Oh,
he's
wait,
got.
this is
Look at.
Moby.
He's got a tattoo like teardrops. So what did he do? Kill a lettuce?
That's
Moby with his tea house, right?
I think he murdered. He murdered a couple head of the lettuce.
So to all the insane vegan lefties, eat what you want. We really don't care. We would, however, love to lock you into a slaughterhouse for a couple hours and force feed you a ribeye, but we won't. However, when you make your diet our political and social problem, you at least deserve a knuckle sandwich.
Knuckle sandwich.
All right.
Did you see the video of the guy give his friend a real burger and tell him that it was an Impossible Burger?
Oh, I think I did.
And he bites into it. He's like, oh, man, this is really good. He goes, and the guy goes, yeah, it's real meat. He goes, what are you talking about? And he goes, yeah, they said it was impossible meat. He goes, but that's 100% beef. He's like, his friend was like, how could you do that? He goes, it was good, right? Pure vegan. He goes, just ruined it all.
Did he let him eat the whole thing, I
It
hope?
took like 3 bites.
3 bites, I would have let the whole thing. Get it all down.
He goes, oh my God, this is
All of it
amazing.
down, along with this vegan tasty shake.
Purely grass-fed.
Why would this is what I don't get about the Impossible Burger? Why do they want to make it taste like meat if meat's supposed to be not good for you and you're anti-meat? Meat's not really good, but make it taste like meat, but don't make it meat.
Like, why do they want to make electric cars drive like regular cars? Because that's what you want, a car, right? You don't want a
Right.
go-kart or whatever else. I don't even get into that. I got
Golf
friends
cart.
arguing. But back to the pay
got
gap
the engine
thing that you
noise.
threw in there, which is pretty interesting. Because I had a long talk with my girlfriend the other day about this, who works for New York State Department of Education, which is a federal position because the education department is federal, so it's a weird thing. She works in the state building, but she's technically a federal employee represented by the state union. So it's all mixed up, and she's a hardcore right-wing constitutionalist, right?
She must break out in
Well,
hives
she
when
can't even
walks
stand
in.
after. She brings me copies of all the inter-department policies, sheets that they have and stuff, and it's all the woke stuff. It's just insane. Anyway, but we were talking about pay gap came
Pay
up
gap.
for some reason the other day on some TV show. She says, yeah, this and that. I go, well, you work for the state. I said, if you're a grade 15, what do you get paid? She goes, well, it's a set pay. I go, do they care if you're a man or a woman? She says, no. I go, okay, that's a good starting point for a conversation. I said, so who is not paying somebody for equal?
So where's this pay gap?
Well, there's a million. If you watch the whole Jordan Peterson, Kathy Newman thing, there's a million things that variables that come into play depending on how long somebody's been on the job. You know, all kinds of employers have all kinds of concerns about people leaving or women get pregnant and they make different choices and stuff. But it's a boondoggle thing. It's a crap thing. So for those people to charge 18% to reflect the pay gap, well, how do you know what I make? What's that got to do? Who's got my job that I'm worth comparing to? Am I giving that money to that person?
No idea. First of all, if men know they're going to have to pay 18%
I'm
more,
going to identify as a woman when I come in.
there you go.
There you go.
Right?
That's it.
I got egg
This is not a full beard. That other,
Hey, hey, I got the room.
butterfly kisses over there.
But I mean, my point is, we're against the cancel culture. We realize how stupid it is until they charge men 18% more. We're like, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there.
Not going to go there.
And not only am I not going to
That's why
go there,
they're out of business.
I wasn't
Right.
going there in the first place, but I'm doubly not going there.
but I'm not going to go the other 3 weeks when they charge me, the regular price because this is stupid. And it's sexist, by the way.
It is, but it's Australia too, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
So the thing that you got to remember about Australia, and I point this out to an Australian friend of mine all the time, they never fought for their independence from the crown. They still have the king on their currency. They're still subjects of England, basically, and they never had a bloody revolution. The only people that really broke away from England that had a bloody revolution was the U.S.
It was us.
Everybody else, was granted their sovereignty. Now, U.S. is Canada. They still are part of the crown. They've got the king on their money. Think about this.
I got pulled over at the border many times, and they
John?
used to take spikes, knives, whatever I used to have for stage gear, right? And they'd take it, and they'd give you a receipt for it, and it would say "surrendered to the crown." That's what it would say.
And which crown was that? It's not
I
crown.
don't know.
Fancy socks.
It was in the '80s, but
right? Fancy socks. There, Trudeau.
Oh, Trudeau.
Castro.
he's a darling man.
Got good hair. He's got good hair.
Hitler's kid, right?
Is he?
I don't know.
He's
I heard it's
related
Castro's
to.
kid.
Castro.
Castro's kid, not Hitler's kid.
Yeah, Hitler's
Close.
These
Hitler's
boys from
kid.
Brazil.
Isn't he related?
Quebec.
Boys from Brazil.
Boys from Quebec City.
different parts of the world there.
Same idea.
Her husband must have strayed.
Wonder
It's
why.
hammer
Didn't
time.
his boyfriend just go to jail?
Oh, I don't know.
You
Yeah,
beat
the
him
guy
with a
in
hammer.
With a hammer. You hit
It's
him in the head
hammer
with a
time.
hammer.
Oh, Pelosi's husband.
Yeah,
Pelosi's
her
husband.
boyfriend went to
Yeah.
prison. Yeah. So he has, a lover. Stuff gets weird. Cops gets called. He broke in.
That whole story, we never really.
Got a hammer and a martini.
Yeah.
We never even really.
How's that even happen?
And he's speaking German. What?
How did that
Some
even
people
happen?
know how to party.
And the glass, they say he broke in with the window, but the glass was outside on the grass. Okay, that's kind of odd.
Right. I didn't go to study. I didn't go to study science, but it seems if you're breaking in,
The glass is going to fall on the inside. But
Right.
The cops are kind of a little special in there in California. They show up, guys got a martini and a hammer. They tackle him. You know, he's naked. I don't get it.
It was in his underwear, wasn't he?
Yeah, they were both in their own. Like, what's going on here?
No,
So-
no
going
gun.
on?
They weren't
He was
carrying
sleeping.
gun
I was
pants
sleeping,
off.
and he hit me in the head. Sure. he
There's
did.
so many things that we don't hear the end of it. We don't hear what the end result is, right?
That's because they're politicians. We don't never hear the end of the story.
Unbelievable. Just like Epstein's
List.
Island. Yeah.
Yeah, when the Democratic Party is fighting so hard to have that list held back, you got to wonder if their name's on the list.
You know it is.
Why wouldn't they? Yeah.
Right? Why wouldn't you release it?
If you have nothing to hide,
Right.
right? Only the guilty need to feel guilty.
I think half of the
Unless
Senate
you're
will be gone.
exercising your Fourth Amendment right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, guys. So, before we go to break, I wanted to see what each of you guys are doing because you're our guest today. I want you to give a little talk on what you're up to these days. Who wants to go first?
Charlie.
John.
Charlie
Are we
Cook.
going to talk about zoos now?
Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie.
Talk about your stimulating radio shows.
Right, my stimulating radio show. So, what I do, I interview people in the car street driving and talk about gun stuff. And I'm trying to put out shows currently almost every week because I have a lot of content that I've collected over this year. In 2023, I filmed a half a dozen shows in Colorado, and I filmed one show in West Virginia, and they were new states. I haven't filmed shows in those before. But I also filmed shows in Tennessee and Massachusetts. I filmed one with Tom King from the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. Filmed some shows in Pennsylvania as well. So, just putting stuff out, man, and putting them out in video, putting them out as audio, as podcasts.
And where can people find it?
They can find it on YouTube if you look for Riding Shotgun with Charlie. You can. I've got a Facebook page. I'm doing a little bit on Instagram. I haven't quite figured it out, and it seems to take a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So I don't put too much stuff on there, but I try to put some stuff on there. And I've been repurposing shows for Armed Lifestyle magazine, and I write an article called "Writing Shotgun with Charlie," where I go back and revisit some guests and call them again and talk with them and write an article about it. That's 2,000 words or so. So I've had oh my gosh, who did I talk to this year? I've talked to Sarah Joy Albrecht from Hold My Guns.
Yep.
Recently, I talked with Michael Cargill from the bump stock case, and he actually took somebody shooting.
Oh, right. The Cargill case.
Yeah, the cargo case. Yeah, I talked to him three or four times this year, which is pretty
Wow.
cool. He took somebody shooting that didn't have any arms and got him to load a magazine and shoot. I shoot some semi-auto Ruger 22 caliber semi-auto handgun with his feet, which is pretty cool.
And Sarah from Hold My Guns she's great.
She's
awesome.
She's awesome,
yeah.
man. She's
We
good
got to
people.
hang out with her. I've had breakfast with her in Phoenix at Gun Rights Policy Conference.
She's
cool.
awesome.
Before or after you fell?
Oh, that was before. It was the next day. It was a nightmare. So
Okay.
I had to come home.
Nothing to lie.
Anyway.
And you're
is that
writing
it?
for News 2A.
Oh
News
yeah,
2A.
no, I've been writing some articles for News 2A about. It started off by thanks to Mr. Petrolino here, writing a lot of this. In Massachusetts, we had this gun law listening tour where the politicians went out and said they were listening to people, and it's all crap. But I started writing. I went to 8 of the 11 of those that they had, and I wrote about those for News 2A. So I've been trying to write some articles there as well. So
And these guys are really cool. Grant and
Grant and Sean.
Sean, good guys over there at News 2A. I've written some articles for them too, and they're kind of an up and coming Second Amendment news publication, online publication.
They're a lot of they're Jersey based.
They're out of Jersey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're Jersey based, but they have articles about everything that's going on in the country. So
Good guys. I talked to them. Nice guys. Cool. Thanks, Charlie. Oh, where can people find you?
if you look for writingshotgunwithcharlie.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. You can watch all the videos on YouTube. I've got a lot of playlists there. So I've got a playlist with all the DC Project gals. I'm working on a playlist for all of the people that are involved with Faster Saves Lives. So I've got some shows with them coming out. Yeah,
Excellent.
I think that's it.
It's your turn.
John Petrolino, I write. That's what I've been doing.
You do a damn good job of it.
Writing and testing suitcases.
Testing suitcases.
And flashlights.
And flashlights. I've tested like 5 flashlights this year and a headlamp. It's been great. Very illuminating. So I write for...
We'll be here all week.
Yep, I hold a byline at Amaland News. They're great. That's where I got my
Absolutely.
start. Love Freddie and the guys over there. And Bearing Arms. That's where I do a lot of my work. I've got about 600 articles with Bearing Arms now.
All great guys. Cam Edwards,
Tom Knighton, Ranjit Singh, Ryan Petty. We were talking about Ryan the other day, right? They're all contributors over there at Bearing Arms.
and same with Amaland. Great guys over there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Freddie and Brian and Duncan.
Yep, high accolades, and I also write a little bit for The Truth About Guns as well. Dan Zimmerman's our editor over there. Good people at The Truth About Guns, and I just cover the Second Amendment related, topics, and pretty much all over the country. You can find me online at thepenpatriot.com. Some information over there about me and my book, Decoding Firearms, which. We're outroing here. You can find me on thepenpatriot.com, author of Decoding Firearms. And
Let's show that book one more time before we go to break.
I want your news tips. John at thepenpatriot.com. Send me emails, people.
Excellent. All right, there's John's book, Decoding Firearms. Okay, stick around. We'll be right back. We have a lot more for you. Stick around.
The Cali Key removes your AR from the definition of an assault weapon. It lets you keep your rifle with all its features, avoid registration hassles, and transport in hostile jurisdictions. The Cali Key also lets you hunt in jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and enhances long-range precision shooting. Cali Key's expert legal opinions empower informed decisions, and sales help grassroots Second Amendment organizations. Cali Key is your tool to keep and equip your AR, empower yourself, and defend your civil rights.
The media and politicians create terms like gun violence and ghost gun and assault weapon to change the narrative around guns in America. The entire anti-gun fear campaign is built on the reactive emotions of people who don't know any better. And the media seeks their support for gun restrictions. In Good Gun, Bad Guy, I give you the behind-the-scenes look into the mind of the anti-gun radical, because before we can defeat them, we need to understand their tactics. Good Gun, Bad Guy 2 exposes the media strategies used to create a perpetual state of irrational gun fear and hatred toward gun owners. Good Gun, Bad Guy 3 reveals the political motives behind the gun grab, why the left wants an unarmed population, and what we can do to thwart their efforts. The anti-Second Amendment radicals started this evil game. Good Gun, Bad Guy is the rule book they hoped you would never see. Go to goodgunbadguy.com to get your copy or purchase the entire series.
All right, we're back. Thanks for sticking around. We're happy to have John Petrolino and Charlie Cook as our special guest. This is part 2 of our Christmas special. We do this every year, and the guys come from Jersey and Massachusetts. They come up here to upstate New York, just south of the Adirondack Mountains, and we have a blast. We go out to dinner, we smoke cigars, we do all the stuff that is unhealthy, and but it's fun, right? And so thanks for coming, guys. Really appreciate you being here.
Always a pleasure, man. Always
Absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
And we have a story. We were talking about this, and you may have heard about this, but it's just it's infuriating to me anyway. But Anthony wants to tell you a little bit about the Boston mayor.
Shouldn't a Boston guy be talking about this?
That's right. The Massachusetts guys should take this. But go ahead, Anthony. What you got there on Boston?
So I guess the Boston guys, Mayor Michelle, woo! Having a holiday party for elected officials of color.
This is terrible.
It was just whatever. So she sends an email out, and she only invites people of color. Is that fair?
In other words, white people just excluded.
How would you be?
Yeah.
Oh no, but if your partner's white, they can come.
Thing is, I wouldn't want to go anywhere I wasn't wanted anyway. But just the idea that she's got the arrogance to do this.
But the white people are defending her.
white liberals.
White liberals.
White liberals are a different breed. They're a different animal
So
altogether.
the email was sent mistakenly to everybody.
Right, as I said, it was NSFW, not suitable for whites.
And then there's a chairman. He said, "Well, we've been doing this for 13 years in secret."
Great.
But but to them, white people are being crybabies, and that. Oh, okay. So I think we should.
Yeah.
Do we
Go to
have a
Boston.
photo of her? Do we have a photo of that mayor?
There she is.
Yeah. Woo! Michelle, what's her last name? Woo! Woo! Woo!
She's cute.
But now what if we were mayor and we just said only white people can come to this party? How do you think that's going to work out? Anybody?
Well, plus when they find out we've been doing it for 13 years in secret, and now it's public,
Right.
like, oh, you shouldn't care about that. Like, what are you?
Right, we've been doing it for years. It's old hat. It's old news.
And then some of the white liberals are like, well, we
grandfathered
really
in.
shouldn't be attacking the poor lady that sent the email. Maybe she did it on purpose. Ever think of that?
She could be a mole.
Right?
But it's just unbelievable that
Ants
they're
rapes
calling
them
us
all.
crybabies. We're crybabies because we're upset that there's parties for just people of color.
We're upset that there's racism going on and we're not involved.
But her husband is white. He was at the party.
He's a plus one. I mean,
Yeah,
come
he's
on.
a +1.
Right. So this is how they mask it. They're like, we're going to invite all of the people that aren't white, and they get to bring their +1. And if the +1 is white, then it looks like it's like everyone's been invited to the party. And this is don't tell DTW. Don't tell the whites.
Is this why you always have me as your +1? Is because I'm white?
That's right.
Am I just a novelty to you? And I'm your +1 because I'm white. Charlie Cook.
John, you're arm candy.
I'm arm
Right,
candy.
that's right.
I know.
That's right.
He's a beard.
His trophy.
The candy happens to be Hubba Bubba, but whatever.
Oh my
That
god.
stuff doesn't last long.
No, it doesn't. The flavor goes like
It's
that.
just like 6 seconds later, like this stuff sucks.
Do they still have that Hubba Bubba?
Oh, yeah.
What about Bubblicious?
Oh, yeah. It's all out
How
there.
about Bubble Yum?
How about
Yeah.
Bazooka Joe?
Bazooka
Joe,
Joe.
that right there
love
is
that.
a
You got a
filling
little stupid
puller if I've
cartoon
ever
in
had
there.
one.
Dude, that's the gum that I chewed all summer when I was 10 years old, and it was the only cavities I ever had my whole life was that summer. Dennis goes,
that?
what have you
They-
been doing all summer? And I go,
they
well,
had-
I'm chewing this gum. Rah, 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 rah.
They had chewing gum when you were 10 years old.
Yeah, back in the day. You had to make it yourself, but you could buy the labels.
Four straw carriages.
up in
He
your
had to draw
own
his own cartoon.
Bathtub bubble gum.
cartoon.
Remember that time he said he had a tricycle he rode till he was 13? Oh. We were like, what the hell are you talking about?
You didn't hear
tricycle.
what I was.
I thought he bought it when he was 2.
I bought it when I was 3, and it wasn't a tricycle.
That was
See, I
after
said the
working in a
number 3,
factory
and he
for-
thought I
for
said
a year.
tricycle.
Hey,
Hey, clean out your ears.
He worked in a factory for a year to buy that bike at 3.
I paid a penny for it. It was on my birthday.
hey, mister, can I get that bike in the window?
I had it till I was 16.
You want the
I
one
just
with the
kept
really big
modifying
wheel?
it, modifying it. It was great.
Well, he didn't have enough money, so he had to cut down on cigarettes. He couldn't smoke for that whole summer when he was 3 years old. Sorry, John. I'm
Paper
sorry.
route didn't pay anything.
I had a paper route. I had a different bike for that.
Look
Had a
at him,
Raleigh 3-speed red with baskets on the back. For my paper.
For the papers?
There he
Better
is.
than the ones on the handle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all right. So getting back to the story, let's face it. History is Boston is ripe with a lot of racist history, right?
They had a tea party and stuff.
Yeah. Just the other day was the 250th anniversary of the Tea Party. So, I mean, racism has been around in Boston for a long time, and now it's against the white people, and they're upset about it. Okay. Like,
They do have a long history of taking people that they don't agree with, calling them a witch, and then hanging them for
right. This is true.
I don't.
If they
Let's think
live,
about-
if they
yeah.
live, then they're witches, and we kill them. And if they
Right.
don't live, well, hey, what are you going
If
to do?
they drown, they were clearly not a witch. Now, what is the
Whoops.
logic in that? But this is Massachusetts, remember.
Well-
so they're much more kind to people today that have different opinions. They don't treat them poorly at
But
all.
they just don't invite them to the party, which is
Yeah.
fine. Like you said, if you don't want to invite me to a party, dude, that's cool, man. I don't want to be there.
I don't get offended at this liberal anti-white racism. I don't. I laugh at it. I think it's hysterical because white people make up 70-some% of the population. Are you seriously think that you're gonna deem us, be racist again? It doesn't matter. We don't care. Nobody cares. We don't need to be fearful of your white racism. It's silly to me. It seems very silly that they're trying to do this. I don't care. You be white racist all you want. I think you're the fool for doing it, to tell you the truth.
Right. I call them self-hating Americans.
Oh, God,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the guy with the beard or the girl with the beard or whatever.
Shim.
Whatever she wants. Right. Is he a boy or is he a girl?
Is he a boy?
Yeah, he seems to hate whatever it is that he is. Like besides work, he hates
How could you hate
work.
what you are? That's the interesting thing about the liberals too. They white people are bad and all this stuff, and they're white, and it's like, well, don't you realize that you're talking about yourself? Doesn't it make sense?
They don't.
There was, in the realm of fake outrage. This is a non sequitur, like a little bit off the beaten path here. We didn't talk about this, but around Thanksgiving time, did you hear about the fake outrage over looking at the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving?
Oh boy, I can only imagine.
With Franklin.
Franklin,
Franklin
right?
was on
So
the
it's
side
like,
of the table by
so
himself.
Franklin is by himself.
Oh, he's the
or-
black kid, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, he's sitting by himself. Nobody wants to sit by Franklin. This is how they're reading into the comic strip, or it was the cartoon.
With the cartoon, right? But I heard I mentioned this to somebody, and she said that I think it was our good friend Mo that she said that the television station didn't want them to put the white kids next to Franklin.
Right.
So
I don't know.
When
but
will-
why are we worried about something that was filmed in
Yeah, when was that?
60s.
the 60s?
the late 60s.
Like, what
yeah.
are we worried?
No. I checked
seriously?
it out. It was 1973.
Oh, 1973. Things were much better in 73 than they were in 69.
Have you ever read the Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn stuff? I mean, they talk.
Those were banned
yeah.
books, Dan.
I know.
Banned books.
But it's part of.
So is Hop on Pop. I found this out in I think it was October, November. Hop on Pop.
Is that Dr. Seuss?
Yeah, Hop on Pop was because it encouraged violence against fathers.
Hop on Pop?
Yeah, Hop on Pop.
Sounds like something the mom would do.
on the OnlyFans. But
Yeah, I don't think.
Hop on Pop,
I'd be like, okay,
OnlyFans
that's
edition.
You know, we can't. I've had these kind of conversations with many people online about the banned book thing, right? You know, because whenever Texas or Florida was banning banning the instructional manuals for oral sex and things like that, they're saying, "Oh, we don't want people to see these, so not in schools anyway." And then these people lump that all together, and they don't even know about Tom's. I had somebody the other day. I was talking about Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer being banned, and they're like, "Well, who banned those books?"
Right.
And I'm like,
Who
"Do you
listens to
not
Rush?"
look at anything out there? Because here, I just grabbed Wikipedia or something, said, "Here you go, there it is." Never heard back from them
right,
again.
this is the whole thing. I've gotten a discussion with a friend of mine about this. He's like, well, in Florida they're banning books. I'm like, well, what books are they banning? Are they banning Hop on Pop and Green Eggs and Ham and all these these Dr. Seuss things, or are they banning books that might not have an appropriate subject matter for a 5-year-old kid
in schools.
Right.
If you want to go on the internet, you can find the books, I'm sure.
Of course.
You want your
But
kid to read that.
the other thing is this: kids can barely get through math problems.
Wow.
And now we're going to teach them all this other stuff that.
It's not even important. It just confuses them, and it creates more. I mean, kids are, all the gender stuff. These are young kids. They don't even have any kind of sexual tendencies yet.
It's
And
like
they're
the Crowder in the barbershop thing. The guy
I didn't
goes,
see it
raise
yet.
your kid in a cave. He's not going to be gay or trans because he won't have any outside influences. And I'm like, okay, pretty much explains it.
Right. Well, we were talking about
Well,
this.
just like racism too. Sorry, John. I'm sorry to
No,
interrupt.
no,
John.
no.
We talked about racism when you're little kids.
They don't care. Who
Little
cares?
kids don't care what color each other is.
Well,
It's
were talking-
taught.
Care about their pronouns.
I was going to say, we we're talking about this morning, the book ban. They want us to believe that they're banning books. They're not really banning books. They're sitting there saying,
Right.
maybe, just maybe, in a government-subsidized, taxpayer institution, it might not be appropriate to have books where there's boy-on-boy oral sex being taught in a public library of a school library.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying. Like, nobody's banning the book. If you want to have that book, you can have that book. Real book bans go back to like Allen Ginsberg, and his poem Howl was banned. It was ripped off of the shelves. And this is not stuff that I'm thinking anybody at this table is going to enjoy reading, but I think everybody at this table would agree that that book has a right to be on the shelf to be sold. And if somebody wants to buy that book, that's a book ban. Taking a public library or even a school library, more importantly, and saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't have this in that context. That's not a book ban.
Right.
Nobody's banning books. Nobody's banning education. Nobody's coming in your house and saying you cannot have this. If you want to teach your child or read from a book that you and I might find morally repugnant, that's not my problem. You want to do that, go right ahead.
We have guidelines so we can protect our kids from certain things and help them grow and help them engage in society as they're growing at a normal pace. So we don't want to rush them into all this sexual stuff. So that's why we do things, 18 years old, there's certain limits, 21 years old, whatever. I mean, we try to set these age limit boundaries because based on how children cognitively grow, right? I don't understand how you can take a 5-year-old kid and start teaching them that they're not the gender that they really are. Brainwashing them into believing a boy is a girl. Oh, no, you're a girl, right? Putting a dress on your boy and making them play with dolls and convincing them over and over that it's brainwashing. And I think that the parents who are doing it, I think there should be some sort of repercussions. It's abuse. It's brainwash. Cult leaders go to prison for brainwashing their followers. Why do these parents get away with it?
Well, on that topic, we're all brainwashed. The Pledge
To
of
a certain
Allegiance is
extent, you're right.
brainwashing,
Marketing-
but brainwashing that's useful to keeping a society together and not killing itself and not fighting amongst itself is something that we probably are all used to, and we probably would all say, okay, well, that's something that makes sense. But the stuff you're talking about is all stuff that's doing exactly the opposite, right? It's turning people against people. Yeah. It's turning parents against other parents. It's turning parents against the schools. Like all this stuff with the book banning. This stuff is happening in a school where you can't give a kid a Tylenol without his parents' permission. And yet you're going to show them graphic explanations of how to perform oral sex. Well, it's insanity.
And you're going to let him pretend that he's a freaking cat or a goat or a dog or a whatever and not let the parents know. Keep it from the parents so they don't even have the information. There's some kids in schools crapping in litter boxes because they think they're a cat.
I'm okay with that. If you think you're a cat, then you need to crap in a litter box. And I had a cat when I was a kid, and we didn't really treat it well because it would always be sitting on the stairs when we're bringing the groceries up the stairs. So we would kick it, right? Because that's what we would do. We used to kick the cat out of the way.
Yeah.
Right? Because he didn't do anything. Come on, we're not going to step over this damn thing. And this is how you treat animals, right?
Charlie, you're losing me here.
That's me. It sounds mean.
Let's go to the zoo.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's time to get back to the zoo.
Charlie kicks cats.
Look, they're eating all of the
biodiversity.
biodiversity.
Where's his
Sea
soundbite?
turtles.
Danny Jr. should be hitting the button.
Well, John, you said, because John stayed in New York, you guys both stayed in New York last night. You said the cat was crawling on you.
yes.
All on me. Every time I stayed at your house, a cat was
Like
all
the
over me.
cat's laying on me. If I ignore it, it'll go away. It did eventually. It found Charlie.
Right, he came into my room, and I'm like, all right, this is bullshit. I get the cat off the bed. I ignored him. I think he came in because I was still on my phone.
Did you kick the cat? Is that why the cat was looking at you funny this
Is that why his
morning?
one ear was on? He was walking sideways.
I didn't kick him. I let him fall off the bed.
I let him fall.
Well, we're running out of time. Let's end with something that will warm everyone's heart for Christmas. In this next video, you'll see a gang of thugs ambush a store with an accomplice helping let them in before the door can be secured. The good news is the store owner gave the little monsters the Christmas cheer by putting a holly jolly cap in their ass. Watch this.
threaten my life or my life of the employees, I would use the gun, 100%.
Here you see the woman walking out and stalling, trying to keep the security guard from shutting the door to let her friends in. But they force the door open and bum rush their way inside. One guy's carrying a sledgehammer. After a worker screams, Marcoux makes his way to the jewelry section, as do the intruders. Marcoux then pulls out his gun. The group scatters out of the shop.
I have a message for all the business owners to take example and fight for themselves, because if you don't fight for yourself, nobody will.
Ain't that the truth?
True.
Ain't that the truth? Nobody's going to protect your store but you, right?
Right.
What do we think?
So here's what I think. When we talk about standard capacity magazines or high capacity magazines, right? I have to make that voice and the choking noise afterwards because
I think it's that thing from throwing the ball.
right, exactly. Thank you. Now we're talking about
We're talking about throwing up in Disneyland.
Wasn't Disneyland? It was the San Diego Zoo.
We can get a San Diego Zoo thing and put it behind.
Isn't he banned from the zoo?
No.
He's kicking the cat.
So I always say this when I teach classes. I say, you know what? Here's why you should buy yourself a Glock, and here's why you should buy a pre-1994 high cap magazine. Bad guys have friends. And that was a great example. It was what, like
Four guys in a sledgehammer.
4 guys with a sledgehammer. Exactly.
And the girlfriend who was like, stalling.
Yeah, trying to hold the door open.
So bad guys have friends. This is why you want high cap magazines, right? Because if you pull out the Joe Biden special, the double barrel shotgun, I told you, I said, fire 2 blasts into the air and it'll chase the bad guys away.
They know you just fired off all your ammo.
Exactly. So this is why you should have high cap magazines, because bad guys have friends, and this is a great example. 4 guys went in with their friendly neighborhood sledgehammer, and the guy pulled a gun out on him. And what did happen is what we hope to happen, but we can't guarantee that it happens. Is incoming fire has the right of way. So once the good guy pulls a gun out on a bad guy and fires a round or 2, hopefully they all turn and run. But you can't be sure of that. You can't be guaranteed that.
Yeah. I think from watching that video, I think one of them got a cap in the ass. I think it looked like it because they
It could
scattered.
have been the girl because she had a
She had a big ass. You can say that on this show.
she had a big ass.
Wow. But she was somebody's +1.
She was
But
a
not for
plus 2.
Charlie's reasons.
Exactly.
She rides kids to school. on
Charlotte,
that
not
movie.
Charlie's +1. Can't believe you used me like that.
We're not done yet, are we?
It just goes. Yeah,
I'm
we're
finished.
running. We're running out here. Running out of time quick. But
running out.
what else you got?
Oh, did you hear the Sandy Hook people are at the White House complaining about gun control, and talking about how kids are dying? I love how they use that.
They
That
got to use
phrase
the
kills
kids.
me
Yeah.
because if Joe Biden's law didn't stop you from carrying on campus,
There would have been somebody there to
but
stop.
then when you say, oh well, maybe teachers should be armed, well, they shouldn't have to do that. Well,
I shouldn't have to, but
I shouldn't have to put on my seatbelt.
yes.
Wear a helmet.
Well, Joe Biden introduced the Crime Control Act in 1990. In it was the Gun-Free
And
School
like you
Zones
said,
Act.
everything went way
Everything
up.
school killings went
They
up ever
won't
since.
look at the solution.
No.
They just want to stick to the problem.
I believe that the real hardcore gun grabbers, they like the killings because it boosts the numbers and it
If you
helps.
take it away, what do they got?
They don't have anything.
You make a school
Right.
a school zone. You can carry guns from that. What's going to happen?
They got nothing to push.
And
gun
it makes national
legislation.
news that
Yeah.
every teacher or anyone who wants campus can have a gun. Where are those people not going?
Right.
Like the bowling alley in Maine with the guy.
Yeah.
No guns on my property. Where's that guy going to go?
He goes right
He
to a
went right to the
gun-free
bowling
zone.
alley.
Yeah. So one of the guy that was doing this gun law listening tours put something up on his Instagram a couple days ago, and it said that we need more gun-free zones. And I commented, I'm like, gun-free zones are where the mass shootings happen, and you want to make mass shootings not happen, but you want more gun-free zones, which means you want more mass shootings to happen.
Oh, we got 10 minutes?
2 minutes.
Oh, 2 minutes.
So we got to wrap up basically. But I want you guys to be able to just tell people where they can find you, what you're doing these days. That sort of
Perfect.
thing.
John Petrolino, thepenpatriot.com. You can find me on Facebook at The Pen Patriot, on Twitter or X, John Petrolino, and J Petrolino III at Instagram. I want your news tips too, so email me, John at thepenpatriot.com. Charlie.
All right, Riding Shotgun with Charlie on Facebook, on Instagram, on the YouTube, on podcast form, and Writing Shotgun with Charlie at Arm Lifestyle Magazine. You can find my show on all of that. You can find it on Amoland as well.
Thanks for coming, guys, and thanks everybody. Great show. Thank you. And thank you for watching us on Rumble. We really appreciate it. You can also catch us on Right America Media, Simul TV, OpsLens, and the Key Radio Network. You can also find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, whatever your favorite podcast app is. I'm Dan Wass, and the Second Amendment is not a privilege. It's your right.